Right, here's a quick overview of all the stuff I'm taking with me on the trip. Start that again because the floorboard's really creaky in here. Here's some of the stuff that I'll be taking with me on the trip. So just a quick run through. Obviously I have my lovely, beautiful, ugly as hell jacket. AGV K5 helmet. I've stuck a GoPro mount on the top just in case I want to do some of that. Spare kind of GoPro mount securing tether thing. Phone, chargers, waterproof bag, kind of roll top. It was a Knox branded one, quite nice. Got all my paperwork for all my ferries, so all the ferry confirmations and all my accommodation confirmations are in there, plus my passport. I always take a couple of rags just for when I'm ever on the bike, just in case things need to kind of get wiped down or cleaned or something. I've kind of GoPro holder, some kind of lightweight straps for luggage, and one of these kind of non-slip kind of foamy pads, which are quite good if there is luggage on the tail and for protecting when using ferry straps. So here's a ratchet strap that I'll be using on ferries. Most of the big ferries will probably have them, but just in case I'm going on some really small ferries and they may not have straps available for me, so I need to take one. It'd be pretty catastrophic to my plans if I missed one of my ferries because they're all fairly tight together. Puncture repair kit, just one with the kind of CO2 kind of canisters. You can buy these pretty much anywhere, you get the idea. What else have I got? Some emergency biscuits, always needed. That's just a kind of security gate key for my house, so that's fine. Moulded earplugs, I made them myself using a kit from Amazon. Wallet. I always take a couple of plastic gloves whenever I'm away on bike stuff, because just in case I need to mess with the chain or something messy, I like to keep a pair of gloves. They weigh absolutely nothing. Here's a strap that can be used to hold the brake on when the bike is in transit, mainly just for the ferries on this occasion. Spare pair of glasses. Toiletries and things have been split into two, so we have, toothbrush. I'm going to Scotland, so I need to get some high strength midge repellent, deodorant, shower gel, toothpaste, paracetamol, ibuprofen, spare contact lenses, sun cream, plasters. I think that's it really. I always take a black bag just in case. As far as clothing, I'm taking plenty of these three of these kind of wicking t-shirts, the kind of sports t-shirts, because they dry really quickly overnight. Same with the underwear. High vis vest for low visibility when I need it. One thin jumper, one shirt, waterproof over trousers, and shouldn't really go anywhere without the towel. That's an essential. So that's pretty much it. And obviously my gloves. So the gloves, the jacket and over trousers are waterproof. So should generally be okay. And I'm wearing kind of casual design kind of boots. They're motorcycle boots and waterproof again, so I should be generally okay. Okay. Hi there, my name's Colin and I am starting a little adventure. I'm going to take my motorcycle around some of the Outer Hebrides of Scotland, and I'm just having a small video blog just to kind of catalogue what I've done. The main reason for doing the tour is just for fun. I want to see more of my home country, and I want to just do a big adventure on a motorcycle. That's pretty much it. Right, so the route I'll be taking, my kind of symbolic start and finish point is Falkland in central Scotland. When I was sketching out a map, it just happened to be a point which where the outward and return legs kind of crossed over. So between my home in Fife and Falkland, I'll be doing essentially a test run, make sure everything's fine, and give the bike a quick inspection when I get there, and set off symbolically from Falkland. Now I'll take the first leg will be up to Inverness. Now depending on how progress goes and how the weather is, there are two main routes. There is the quick route up the main A road, the main motorway to Inverness, the A9, which should take about 3 hours. And there is a more scenic route, which I probably would prefer to do, all going well, which takes me through the Cairngorms, so the beautiful mountainous part of Scotland, well, one of many. But that takes a fair bit longer, and we're talking at least an hour and a half, 2 hours more riding, but on very kind of twisty, scenic routes. But this week there has been serious rainfall, so that might be an option, might have to skip. So that'll hopefully go well anyway. The next leg will take me from Inverness to Ullapool. Now Ullapool's in the far northwest coast of Scotland. Now I'm not going to take the direct route, I'm going to take a kind of scenic route via Applecross and Gairloch up to Ullapool. Now this forms part of the now quite famous North Coast 500 route. Previously I'd done the top half before they called it the North Coast 500, so this is me just sort of completing that circuit, so I've effectively covered the whole route. From Ullapool I'll take an evening ferry across to Stornoway on the Isle of Lewis, and stay there for a night. Over the next day I'll progress down Isle of Lewis, sort of wandering, finding where places I've never been to before, and just seeing as much of the island as I can. Continuing south, go through the Isle of Harris, and again just seeing these beautiful places, and covering as much on the bike as I can. There'll be ferries across to North Uist, and then down to Benbecula, where I'll stay another night, and then down through South Uist down to the Isle of Barra, where I'll have an overnight stay. Once a week there is a ferry that goes from the Isle of Barra to the Isle of Tiree, both pretty small islands, not a huge demand for ferry services, so it only happens once on a Wednesday at lunchtime. Now, if I miss that, it'll be a bit of a problem, and I'll have to backtrack and find other routes back home. But fingers crossed, all going well, and assuming that none of the previous ferries are cancelled, that should be okay. So hopefully I'll get across to the Isle of Tiree, and then its next door neighbour Call will be the following day, and then I'll get the ferry from Call to Oban, on the kind of mid-west coast of the mainland, and from there I'll cross, just skirt across the top of the Loch Lomond National Park, and then head back to Falkland to complete the loop. And that's where this first journey will end. Hopefully this will be the first of many. But this is the test run on home turf. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so that's all the stuff packed up. Now, I don't have any external luggage on the bike. This is the only luggage I'm taking, and it's weighing in at a whopping 5 kilograms. So I get the feeling that I should have been taking more stuff than this, but as it stands just now, this is all that I seem to need. So I'll soon find out if I'm missing anything, but for now, a 5 kilogram pack it is. Now the way this has been set up is that at the bottom there is kind of stuff I don't really need very much, or certainly won't need to access on the road, so that's like clothes for later on in the week. There's some ferry stuff like the straps and the protective pad and stuff. That's a bit further up because I'll have plenty of warning before I need that. Further up there is my kind of toiletries, kind of rain gear above that, and that's pretty much all that's in the pack, so quite light going. Okay, so this is the bike I'll be using for the journey. It is a 2010 Yamaha XJ6 version F. Yeah, I think I've got that right. It's got about 16,000 miles on it, recently been serviced. I don't have any external luggage on the side, as I'm taking everything in my backpack. I will store a disc lock and a puncture repair kit underneath the seat though. That should just about fit. Now, some of the checks that I will be doing before I go is checking the chain tension, which should be fine. Checking the tyre pressure, lubricating the chain, checking the oil level, checking the coolant level, checking brake pads and discs and the brake fluid, and generally just taking a kind of once over to make sure everything is as it should be. Now it has recently just been serviced, so there shouldn't be too much of an issue with this, but I like to do these checks anyway. Right, so I'm in Perth, just arrived straight from Falkland, and it's starting to rain. I don't know if that's coming across on the camera, but it's been raining on and off and is quite slick all the way here so far. So I'm going to take the A9 route further from here. Okay, it's getting pretty heavy. Right, the weather cleared up a little bit as soon as I put the rain gear on, and then I started to take the more scenic route through the Cairngorms. But it turns out that the main road past Blairgowrie is shut, so I have no idea how to go through the Cairngorms without that road, so I'm going to have to revert to the safe plan of the A9 and just take the quick route up to Inverness. A little disappointing, but that's the way it's going to go. Right, so I'm in Inverness. I just got here, so it's quite a long journey on the way up. Yeah, the rain was pretty heavy. Yeah, so it was basically non-stop from Falkland. We couldn't do the scenic route because of the road closures. So straight up the A9, which wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Far more scenic than I remembered. They've spent a bit of money doing up the road, so it's all pretty smooth sailing all the way up. Yeah, so this is basically the end of day one. I'm in the hostel already, and this is the end of day one. I'm in the accommodation already. On and off with the showers, but I think I've been quite lucky today. I really enjoyed the ride up. Everything going very smoothly. Good morning. So firstly, stay in Inverness and get ready this morning to go to Ullapool and then take the ferry to Stornoway. Now the route I'll be taking will be via Applecross and Gairloch. So it's a bit of a detour, so it'll take a good few hours. I'm not entirely sure how long because of these kind of rural routes. You never can trust the Google Maps time estimates, so I give it a bit extra time just to make sure I don't miss my ferry, because it's the last one of the day, so I'll be stuck if I miss it. It wasn't much of a video yesterday. I'm just getting used to these, having to do a video blog. Need to keep remembering to take some videos, otherwise there'll be nothing to show when I get back. But it looks like it's going to be a good day today. Glorious weather. Not many clouds in the sky today, but fingers crossed it will stay like that until I get onto the other side of the ferry, because the Ullapool to Stornoway ferry is notoriously rough. Okay. Right, so I'm on the road to Applecross, and it's absolutely beautiful, absolutely. This is pretty much what we're getting all the way along. It's a beautiful dry day for now. I've been really lucky so far, hardly any traffic, so I've had the place to myself, so it's been really good so far. Bike's running a treat, it's going really well, so yeah, so I'll try and remember to do more of these videos. Okay. Right, I'm still on the road to Applecross, and it's down to single track roads, so we're getting a bit remote. There's been a few other motorcyclists that have been kind of following up to this point. It's been really nice to have, well, they were total strangers, but other riders to sort of follow up this route. It's very quiet generally, and still very beautiful, as you can see. Now the quality of the roads is obviously gone down a little bit, and you have to be careful with some of the potholes, but it's still good enough that you could look up now and again and appreciate where you are and how beautiful it is. Okay. Okay, so I've just stopped off for a coffee and a scone at Loch Carron, and it is an absolute beautiful place, with a nice wee tea room with some lovely ladies in there. It also has one of the most quaint little golf courses by the looks of things. It's just not a bad place to stop for a cup of coffee, anyway. That'll do. This is part of the Applecross Pass, and very remote, very quiet, but beautiful. Right, next up, Applecross. Right, so this is Applecross, finally made it here. The road down was stunningly beautiful, hard to put into words. Very slow going though, under 30 most of the way, barely got out of second gear, but a joy of a journey, so it's gone really well. Been lucky with the weather, stayed dry, stayed bright. That road in any other conditions must be so difficult. Anyway, I'm here at Applecross. Quite a small place, but have a look around. As with everything on the west coast, it's breathtakingly beautiful. So much of it. Okay, so the next stage is Fernmore. There's no GPS stuff out here, no 3G I mean, to get the Google Maps up on my phone, so just got to play it by ear and see how far I get. Hi, I'm on the road from Applecross to Fernmore. I've been enthusiastically riding for the past wee while, and the bike's getting a little on the hot side, so I'm taking a 5-minute break just to let the fans do their thing and cool the bike down a little bit. I was sitting at 105 degrees with oil, which isn't too bad. But it usually sits just under 100, so I'm just letting it cool down just now, and it's just doing its thing. Again, it would take the breakdown services about a month to get here, but it's a beautiful place to have a break, as you can see. I think my wife might have sent out for a helicopter search party for me. Maybe. So this is Shieldaig. Fernmore, there wasn't really anything there. There was about 3 houses, and that was about it. But this is a little bit more interesting. It's been very tough riding, very slow, about 20 miles an hour the whole way. Very lucky that it's dry today, otherwise that would have been really difficult. Still got about 40 miles to go before Gairloch. We'll see how that goes. So here I am in Gairloch. Another pretty little town. This is the last major stop before I get to Ullapool for the ferry. Some wee towns on the way down. Quite slow going really, some twisty stuff. Again, glad it's dry, but some more major roads recently. Right, so I'm in Ullapool eventually. It's been a long day's ride so far, not far to go. I'm about 2 hours ahead of the ferry time, so I've got a little bit of time to kill, so I might go and get some fish and chips and see what Ullapool has got to offer. This will be the first time I've taken a bike on a ferry, so I'm a bit concerned about making the journey in one piece, so I'm going to get down to the ferry nice and early as soon as they open the gates basically, and see if the guys will help me strap it up properly so it doesn't fall over during the sailing. Right, so I'm in Stornoway now, and this is just got off the ferry about 9:30 there. So 9:30 on a Sunday night in Stornoway, nothing happens. Only the church and hangovers happen on Stornoway on a Sunday. So Sunday night is pretty quiet. Staying at a hostel. Seems like a nice bunch of people. So I'm going to go in and chat to them and see if we can make any friends. And yeah, so hopefully we'll see a little bit more of Stornoway tomorrow. Just got into the middle of town. Just got off the ferry terminal down there. and that's about it. Good morning from Callanish. I had to make an early escape from Stornoway this morning because I was getting massacred by the midges. Despite the strongest midge repellent I could buy, they still had a feast, so I had to basically run for it. So I'm at Callanish this morning, another beautiful ride up here, and I've been really lucky again with the weather, as you can see. Now this isn't totally free from midges, but I should be able to get by. Right, so I think I've outrun the midges for now. I'm at Duncarloway, and it's a tower, but they call it a brooch. Quite an interesting building in the middle of nowhere here. I mean, and we're pretty much on the west coast of Lewis now. This is as far west in the mainland I think I've ever been, in the British Isles I've ever been. I've been in Lewis before, but I've always kind of stuck to the eastern side. Yeah, it's really pretty out here. Surprisingly, quite a lot of homes as well. Didn't expect to be so many people out here, but quite a few. It's really nice though. Oh yeah, I'm going to try some helmet cam stuff for the first time on the way back to the main road on the island. This will probably use up a lot more batteries than I'm expecting, so we may not have any more videos today if I run out of batteries. So take a chance, see what happens. Not bad, is it? It's not bad at all. So I'm on the road from to Tarbert, so I've just crossed into Isle of Lewis, and it starts to look a lot more rugged, a lot more mountains. I'm going to stop in Tarbert to get some fuel and some food. I should be there fairly soon, I hope, because I think the rain's coming. Right, so that's me in Tarbert for a quick refuel and some food as well, and I'll keep heading down through Harris. There hasn't been much opportunity to do the head cam stuff. It was too windy I think, and I was a bit concerned the mount wasn't strong enough for the camera. I was getting a fair hit of the wind, so have to keep to the slow stuff for the camera I guess in the future, but I don't think I'll hang around here too long. Not a great deal to see in Tarbert. Got a big ferry terminal, distillery, and that's about it. Right, I'm down the south-east side of Harris now. I'll be honest, I've no idea where I am, but there aren't that many roads to choose from, so I'll just keep going along this one until I find something interesting. Such a rugged landscape around here. Once again, beautiful. Well, see for yourself. Now the sheep are becoming a bit troublesome. They seem to like to just stand in the middle of the road for no reason. Sometimes they wait until I'm coming, then stand in the middle of the road. It's yeah. I don't know what's worse, those are the midges. The sheep or the midges. Now the midges are worse. Yeah, definitely. And a note for tomorrow, make sure there's no midges in your helmet before you close the visor. Well, this is it. This is what I was looking for when I set out on this trip. Not the sound of my bike cooling down, no, not that one. Is this, it's just the kind of beauty and isolation of the place is just amazing. Harris always seems to deliver when it comes to this kind of stuff. There's so many inlets and glens that you always find a place to yourself. It's really beautiful. Right, I'm on the main road to Leverborough now, and should be there in not too long from now. There's some really scenic beaches and things I think coming up. I think I can see one already, and so I'll stop at quite a few places because I've got a good couple of hours to kill before the ferry, so I'm just going to take a leisurely approach to getting there. Yeah, so good. So I'm in Seelbost, wherever that is. So I'm getting towards I'm on the west coast of Harris now, and as you can see, it's white beaches, turquoise water, just absolutely beautiful. It's also freezing. It's also absolutely freezing, but if you're thick-skinned, then this is a place for you. I'm a little further down the coast, the west coast of Harris. Stopped for a little picnic and we regroup, and just to say that it's been a brilliant day so far. It's been really dry, so the going's been really good. The roads are really good in Harris. They seem to have all been done up in the past 10 years, so they're all really good quality, feel really safe. It's stunningly beautiful. The people are courteous. It's just a great place to come for a ride or a drive. It just seems really good. There's a campsite just up past Kisbet H, Hogmub something, and that looks really beautiful. I'll come back there one day and have a camp. Don't have my camping stuff with me this trip, so not today anyway. Should also kind of regret moaning about the sheep and the midges. I was scared of sheep because I was in their back garden, and the midges, I've killed thousands of them on the front of my visor, so it seems only fair. So I'll take my moan back if I can. Okay, so next stop is probably Leverborough. Maybe. St Clement's Church. Waiting for the ferry to go over to so got a while to wait, about an hour or so. But luckily we've got the BT bus to provide some sustenance. A greasy burger and some juice, but that's fine. Keep it concerned about this next ferry, as it's a lot smaller than the last one I was on, so just hoping the brake is fixing in place. Right, so I'm on Bernie, it's kind of North Uist. That's the causeway to get across to the kind of main part of North Uist. I've just been to the lobster pot tea room, which I seem to have been every time I've been to this part of the world I've gone to, so I need to keep going back. And it's the only thing round here. It's the only thing apart from rocks and the ferry. So you have to go. So next stop, I'm going to head along to the Westford Inn for a bite to eat, but I'm going to take the long way around North Uist, and hopefully if it's a clear day be able to see out to St Kilda. Fingers crossed. Here I am on the north side of North Uist. There's only really one big road that goes around North Uist. I'm on that road, and I should be about, I don't know, towards the northwest side I think. It's a much softer landscape than Harris was, far fewer rocks. But still has the white beaches and turquoise sand, seas at some point. Seems like a really nice place to live, to be honest. Nice and green and soft, and a real charm about it. I'm going to keep going to the far west coast, to the St Kilda lookout. Right, so I'm up the far west side of North Uist, and I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but straight out there you can just see the outline of St Kilda, which I think is amazing. It's so far away, but that's it, over there. These cows seem surprised to see anybody. I don't think they get too many people up here. That one in the middle is looking straight at me. I'm gonna go. Quick stop at the Westford Inn for a bite to eat and some drinks. Nice. Right, so that's me in the Nunton Hotel Hostel, just on Benbecula. I didn't really realise I was on Benbecula until I was already here. There wasn't that many signposts, and I just kept following a road and ended up at Benbecula Airport, which is just over there somewhere. much flatter here, long straight roads, nice kind of causeways to ride along. But yeah, it's a beautiful hostel, immaculately clean, nice people. Yeah, recommend coming here. Okay, so I've just had a lovely night in Benbecula. I've just headed down an early jump and did a hit. So I've just had a lovely night in Benbecula. I've got an early jump this morning, and I've just headed down the western road of Benbecula. I'm going to head up the kind of central main road just now because I believe there's a bakery that's opened up quite early, so I'm going to go and see what they have to offer. The ferry from the south of South Uist doesn't leave until about 1 o'clock, so I've got a few hours to kill because it's not that far away. So I'm going to see if I can get around pretty much every road between Benbecula and North Uist, South Uist. Just see what it is, and yeah, go for that. This statue is apparently called Our Lady of the Isles. This is Vatersay, which is just the south of Barra. You don't need to get a ferry, there's a causeway to get across, and it's outrageously beautiful down here, and it's even quite warm today, so I think I might go and dip my feet in the water, and it looks too tempting. Right, so I'm still in Battersea just now. I'm heading back to Castle Bay on Barra to catch the ferry this afternoon. And yeah, I'm kind of sad to leave. It's a beautiful place. Perhaps the prettiest that I've been to. It's really nice. I managed to get sand from the beach everywhere, including into my the mechanism for my helmet visor, which isn't good. Never mind everywhere else. So I'll see if I can clear that out while I'm waiting for the ferry. Okay. arrived in Tyree. The ferry across from Lara was very, very smooth sailing. The Minch is like a pond today, so that was good. It's beautiful weather again here, a bit windier here, but still beautiful. So we're about to have some food this evening and look up some maps and see if there's anywhere I can explore tonight, and take a few things off as quickly as I can. Am I getting the sun on my face? That's probably getting the camera all the wrong way around there. That's fine. Side on, that's how it works. So yeah, Tyree looks nice, much flatter than the other places. Kind of like Benbecula, looks a bit like Benbecula. But yeah, let's see what we can get up to today. Right, so I'm on the northwest side of Tyree, and it's pretty flat. There's not much here at all, and the roads are terrible, so I'm having to take things very, very slowly. Drainage ditches and loads of bumps and gravel and muck, and yeah, it's pretty hazardous for these roads. The landscape's pretty flat, there's not much here really. Not much apart from my new friends. Hello. Right, right, I'm over at the west side of Tyree now. The sheep are clearly surprised to see anybody at this time of night. It's still kind of all kind of livestock land, and kind of a bit more interesting. Roads are still a bit rough. I'm going to keep heading down the west side and then kind of cut across about halfway up the island and try and get back to some more main roads over on the east side and see where they lead. Okay. So the midwest side of the island is much more promising, much nicer landscape, better roads, more people. The sheep and cows just seem to roam free. There doesn't seem to be that many fences. Some nice kind of beaches starting to appear. So it's a bit more promising the further south I get. That's some kind of radar tower at the top of the hill there, the big dome. So I think I'm roughly in the middle of the island now, heading east, roughly towards where the ferry terminal is. So I've kind of looped round the north of the island anti-clockwise, found a little church, maybe the only one on the island, but I'm going to keep going and see where this road takes me. Well, the south side of Tyree's pretty nice at sunset. I have to say it's barely been worth it. It's been pretty punishing on those roads. Been finding a car, I think, or even a bike that had suspension for more off-road stuff. It was far too bumpy for this bike. Really punishing. I was having to go around 15 miles an hour or less just to cope with the bumps and camber on the road. So and little ditches as well. So I'm going to head back now because I don't fancy doing those roads after the sun's gone down. So I'm just going to head back and get a good night's sleep. Right, so I'm still in Tyree. I feel like I was a little bit harsh on the island yesterday, as it was trying to shake me and my bike to pieces. It's clearly an island that's better explored on foot. Very flat, loads of big long beaches like this one. So it's just best to leave the bike for a day and have a walk around. I'm sure this island's really good for people into kind of windsurfing and kayaking and those kind of things. And if you were here during the music events, I'm sure it'd be a lot more lively. I just seem to find it at a very quiet time. There's nobody here. Long left on Tyree. The ferry should just be coming over the horizon pretty soon to take me to Call. It's I'm imagining something quite similar for Call, very quiet. Apparently there's only a couple of hundred people who live there, so I can't imagine there'll be much of a metropolis. Just a note for future trips, Tyree doesn't have a cash machine. Has a bank, but no cash machine. No way to get cash. So I'll need to work that out. See how I'm going to pay for stuff. Well, the winds are changing. I'm glad I kept my waterproofs near the top of my bag. Looks like it might be rainy when the crossing in Call, so I'll have to just wait and see. Fingers crossed it's just a quick shower, but no, you never know. So. Right, so I'm on Call now, and it's quite windy, and I think the rain's coming in quite soon. I'm going to try and get in one fairly quick loop of the island while it's still dry, so I can see where I want to go later on if I need to avoid kind of unnecessary journeys in the wet. Slightly less flat than Tyree, some hills and some blocks and stuff. Yeah, it's quite pretty. I'm not going to hang around though. I'm going to just get on and try and get the loop done before it rains. So I've just started heading down the east side of the island, and I'll head back up the west and nip up to the kind of northern point, then back to my accommodation near the ferry terminal. So that's the airport. Got a couple of castles in the distance over there. Unfortunately they're not accessible by road, and with the weather drawing in, It's not someplace I'll be going on foot alone. There's a walled garden, walled house, I can call it, over there. And I would have stayed there if I'd been camping, because it gives you some protection from the wind, which is increasing by the minute. So I'm going to keep going. I'm roughly on the southwest of the island now, and I'm going to keep going up the west side, right to the northern tip. I'm in the middle of an RSPB kind of bird reserve on the southwest of the island just now. Roads are getting very slippy, not with the rain, but just with dust and gravel and mud and muck, so it's very slow going. I'm going to keep going as quickly as I can though, try and get the loop done. Right, it turns out that the western road is closed due to kind of protecting birds as part of the reserve. So I'm just going to have to turn back, head back up the east side of the island, see how far I get. Okay. Right, get up the top of this hill. It's a massive sand dune on this side, and you can see the castles over there. Seems strange to have two castles quite so close. So there you go. Very beautiful island. Quite rugged, certainly windy. Still got those turquoise waters and the white sands all around the island. Very pretty. Right, so the central to north of Coll has got some lovely beaches, some sandy beaches. You just catch glimpses of them from the road, but can't really get close. I think we'd have to come back and do a lot of kind of walking to really make the most of Coll. The centre of the island is quite harsh and rocky. There's quite a few more houses than I thought there'd be here. Apparently there's only a couple hundred people that live here, so yeah, surprisingly populated. Although very few vehicles. In fact, I was the only one that got off the ferry from Tyree, so there's not much traffic. So yeah, I'm going to go a bit further and then head back to my accommodation, because I'm getting alarmingly low on fuel at the moment. So and there aren't that many petrol stations or breakdown services on Coll, so I'm going to have to play this one safe. Right, so Coll's pretty quiet. Nice place though. It's almost like the kind of place you could live if you wanted island life. It seems to have everything you need in this town, apart from a petrol station. It's only open 3 days a week, and which is not today. It's one of the 20 cars, I think, in the whole island. I like it here. here on call, just ready to have dinner. And I think an early bed because still a lot of travelling to do tomorrow to get back to Fife. It'll be a long day, a lot of miles. So good feed, good sleep, and early ferry tomorrow.
Claire, are you in the house? I need a picture of my passport. A clear picture. Right.
That's me arrived back in Oban, back in the mainland. Next stop is Inveraray. I'll take it from there. Right, I'm on the road to Inveraray. Getting out of Oban was miserable. It was one big traffic jam, and it started to rain very heavily, and it's only just started to lighten off. Been really windy, really wet, and lots of traffic. But I've turned away off the main road to the road that takes me to Inveraray, and things are quieting down a bit, which is much better. The sun is actually starting to come out at the moment, so that's really good too. So hopefully I should be in Inveraray fairly soon, and we'll get some food, and yeah. I'm not entirely sure, there's something up with the bike. It's not revving very well, feels very heavy to handle, slowing the acceleration as well. Not entirely sure what it is. I might need to check the tyres or the brakes or something, because it's not running very nicely. So there's nowhere really to do that between here and Tyndrum, so I'm just going to hold off, take things at an easier pace, and see how we get along. Okay. Right, so this is me in Inveraray. The rain stopped, which is good. The place is full of day trippers, which is fine. I'm just not going to hang around too long, so we once round the town and head up to Cairndow for some oysters. Right, so I've just stopped at the Lochfine Oyster Cafe at Cairndow, just near Inveraray. I'm now on the main road between Inveraray and Loch Lomond, just past the Rest and Be Thankful, and with the rain and significant side winds, it's a dangerous road at the moment. Stunningly beautiful even in the fog, but a lot of impatient drivers, a lot of nutcases. So I'm needing to keep my wits about me on this one, but it's a beautiful place to be. Right, so I've just come up the west side of Loch Lomond. I know on a sunny day it's a great road for a drive, but there's so much standing water and traffic around that it's pretty dangerous. Luckily there's so many cars at the moment, it's keeping things nice and slow, but there's so much water lying on the roads that yeah, you're just going through puddles all the time, and you're losing the back end of the bike, and it's a wee bit nervy. So I shouldn't have too far to go before I get up to Greenlarich and Tindrum for my next stop, where I'll get some more petrol and a cup of coffee. This is the penultimate stop before home. Had to come here, it's been part of so many trips. The sun's coming out of the last leg of the journey. The road from Tindrum towards Perth is a beauty. And the sun comes out, the road dries up a bit, it'll be a great way to finish this tour. Not bad at all. Great stretch to finish the journey on. So that's me back in Falkland where the journey began. That completes my loop off the west coast of Scotland. So here I am back in Falkland. It's been amazing, I'm going to have to do this again sometime.